And Cooking with Doug is going to be resurrected. Actually, I'm going to start today because I've got the ingredients for slow cooked. I got this is on special. It's only $9, normally about $11. I got on special yesterday. It's just diced beef. I'll use this as the basis for slow cooking a meal, which I'll do today. And I'll eat the first portion tonight. But yeah, I've been putting this off for some time, but I finally found one on special. I always like to cut costs if I can. And I'll start preparing that today. So Cooking with Doug will be resurrected today. And this is a meal I've been meaning to do Cooking with Doug with for some time. So hang in there. There's going to be more information coming very soon. Okay, hi guys, it's Thursday afternoon around 2 o'clock and it's Christmas Eve, and I'm going to do a slow cook today. I haven't done one for probably about 6 months. Quite easy to do. It's just the preparation, it takes a little time. I've just cut the onions, which is the most onerous task I find because I do get a little teared up with it, and I've also crushed the garlic. So I'm ready with the first two ingredients. And I'll just take you through the process from this point onwards, and it's just basically a matter of sautéing those ingredients, and then we'll get the meat. I bought the meat fairly cheaply, which is sort of like just slices of meat, like stir fry, and I'll shove that to use by on that is actually today, so perfect timing. And this should make a nice big pot of primarily vegetables with a little bit of meat and quite a few spices, and that's basically what I've done in the past, and it seemed to work pretty well. I don't know about why these people have these elaborate things like pressure cooking and all that sort of thing. Just a big pot with a lid on it, and time. I guess it's the time constraints that are the problem for most people. I'm time rich. I've got the rest of the day to do the cooking. It's just a matter of basically simmering it anyway. Once you've actually got all the ingredients in, it's really easy. And if you're a single guy like me, it's perfect because you've got these meals you can just pull on for 5 or 6 nights. You can have different meals in between, I guess, because it'll keep for some time. I guess you could even freeze it if you really wanted to, but I haven't done that. But anyway, look. I'll get on with it now, and if you want to see me doing the cutting and what have you, look at my previous video because I went through the whole process, but I don't see any point doing that now. Might as well truncate it a little bit and we'll get into the nitty gritty. Okay, well the big ass fry pan is on the range top, and now I'm just going to add a little bit of olive oil. That's the olive oil I'm using. This actually drips out pretty slowly. Most of them they come out pretty quickly, but this one's a bit reluctant, a bit shy. Hasn't been around too much and doesn't want to expose itself. So now I'll just put in the garlic, which I've crushed. It's about 4 or 5 cloves here, some fairly large ones. Of course, that's nature for you. The size varies a bit. But just shove them in there and we'll start sauteing, get them a little brown, and then we'll add the onions. And you generally don't go to the top level when it comes to the heat. This is actually number, I don't know, it's got a number there? I can't even, no, there actually isn't even a number there, so it's just, that's where I look at. I'll get this nice implement here. This is really nice slide, all metal, one piece, the one I got from DJ's, and I'll just round it up, and then we'll get the old onions in there. And I might as well get some of the other ingredients. I'll get some tomato. I've got tomato paste, just bought it today. And where is it? But also diced tomatoes, can of diced tomatoes. Better grab the stock, I'm going to need that later. beef stock cubes. Yep, that's quite hot now. Oh, it's warm weather. It's not the greatest weather to cook in, I've got to say. It's actually quite warm up here virtually every day. We had some rain today, but it really just added to the humidity, so not perfect for cooking, but that's okay. I do have a bit of cold beer on me, so when 5 o'clock strikes, I'll then start imbibing. Of course, tomorrow could be a disaster because I've got the old champers and it's just me and one full bottle. I'd like to buy a half bottle, but there was only one around that I could see at Dan Murphy's. And seriously, it's better value just to buy the full bottle. I mean, you don't necessarily drink it all, but knowing me, I will. Hopefully I'll pace myself fairly well. I don't have a proper champagne flute either. I'm going to basically just use my nice wine glass, which is a big balloon type thing. I think the idea of the champagne flute is to actually retain the bubbles in the actual champagne, but I think I'll be guzzling it so quickly it won't be an issue. So anyway, I might turn that up a little bit. They're not doing anything at this stage. The thing about this, because it's such a heavy fry pan, it distributes heat pretty evenly once you've warmed it up, and it takes a little longer probably to do that, but I think it's probably for a more even cooking experience. That's why they've designed it like that. It is quite heavy. I wouldn't think it would be appropriate for someone who's fairly dainty. You want to, you know, it's like lifting weights. It's got a bit of muscle there required. I can hear it now. It's making some sound. That's always good. A bit of sound. And once a little bit of brownness comes to that, I'll then shove in the onions. And again, I want to brown those as well. So smells good. It's a pity we don't have olfactory sensors with YouTube or Bitchute, but unfortunately we don't. We're just old school here. One of these days some genius will come up with that and you'll be able to actually smell someone cooking. And that could be a blessing, it could be an absolute horror, depending on the competency of the cook and what they're cooking. Bugger, look, we'll put this in. It's all, I cook by the seat of my pants and just feel my way through the process. This really isn't even a recipe. I didn't grab this from anything. I just used a bit of common sense to come up with this concept. Fairly basic items in cooking. You know, I like to use a lot of tomato paste and tomatoes, and they seem to be pretty versatile. Oh, it's definitely cooking up now. You can. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's definitely going. I've got a crap load of onions here to be more than enough, but you can never have too many onions. Well, I suppose you can, but I've never experienced that situation. Okay, that's a good sound. Now we're getting there. Yeah, it's quite a few onions to add. I like to break them all up and try to get everything evenly cooked and get them in as quickly as I can, so the laggards aren't too far behind the initial onions. Oh, look at that! Isn't that great? Yeah. Oh, the garlic is all brown now. Let's just get these last little threads of onion in the mix. I'm going to add lots of spuds, lots of sweet potato. I'll put some in there. Maybe put some pumpkin in there. Definitely carrot. And I'll be adding spices such as sweet paprika, in from a sachet. Oh God, it's trying to jump out of it. You just stay in the pan, Mr. Onion. I don't want you escaping. The great escape for a vegetable. So what I'll do is I'll cook these up, get them golden brown, and then I'll transfer them across to the pot. I'll show you the pot I'm going to be cooking in. It's fairly large. It's quite light actually. It's El Cheapo, just an aluminium thing, but it seems to do the job well. Very light, quite a decent size. I'll just give it this. Okay, that's fine. And you've got a glass top there, and you can open and shut the air going in. So I find that quite useful. And there's a little vent there as well. So yeah, it seems to work pretty well. I've used it a few times. I think the next cab off the rank, once we do that, we'll get the meat done, then we'll get on to the sauces. But I want to have this all fairly clean so I can actually just saute the meat towards gold, towards brown, and then we'll shove all that into here. This will go first, this mix. It always smells great when you're cooking onions. They're very aromatic. Yeah, some of them are already done, but that's okay. I don't mind caramelised a bit. I'd like to give them a decent cook, because the caramelisation can be quite nice. That's some of the really best flavours. So don't be afraid. Just don't burn them. That's all you've got to really avoid doing. But brown's good. That's no problem with being brown. Getting there, it won't be much longer. Almost to the stage where I'll transfer them across to the pot. I'll just leave them in the bottom of the pot, that's not a problem. And once the meat's cooked, I'll do the same. I'll add that as well. And then we'll put some sauce in there, and with the seasoning, and the spuds can be sort of just, you know, they can go in. I could do it a number of ways, I guess. I mean, I could just take the spuds and put them directly in the big pot, really. Once the sauce is there, that's fine. So I could do it that way, I could do it progressively, whatever I like. But that's the beauty of this, you can really play around with it. Yeah, very close now, I think. Yep, I think that's pretty good. Now I'll just transfer this across to the main. Nice. Smells good. A couple of burnt bits, I might get rid of that, just toast that. Yeah, I don't want the carcinogens as well. I'd like to actually keep it reasonably healthy, so I just got rid of a couple of fairly burnt bits. Actually, it's looking a bit dark there too, and but smells great. Actually, that is caramelised. It's beautiful. Okay, so the bottom of the pot, I've got all the Just leave them there, no problem. Now we'll just grab the meat. This is where I lose the vegan audience. What a shame. Oh my God, they're running for the hills. I can see that. Yes, there you go, vegans. Meat, red meat. Actually, I was watching a blog about Malaysia. Well, it's about Southeast Asia in general, what the best cities were. He actually wasn't a bad blog. The guy did a good job, but at the end, he just kept, I kid you not, I reckon every fourth word he uttered was vegan. I mean, he didn't actually even state overtly that he was a vegan, but I think it was pretty damn obvious. Anyway, I'm just going to shove these, they're fairly big humps actually. I haven't tried this before. This is a new one from Woolworths for me. The ones I get from, I've tried the same sort of thing from Coles, but it's actually, they're in thinner strips. They're more like your stir fry. These ones are a bit thicker, and I don't have a problem with that either. It won't matter because, boy, they're going to get cooked to this, not to extinction, but they're going to be cooked pretty bloody thoroughly. So. Oh, I didn't forget to put the oil in. Whoa! Big mistake. Sticking. So we've got to get a bit more oil back in. That was an error by me. So slap me on the wrist. I've got the heat right down now. It's only to about actually it's about the minimum notch. I'll pick it up a little bit, but I don't need a great deal of heat here, I don't think. So we're going to get the caramelisation from the onions going into the meat, which isn't a bad thing. Actually, I've got to say, I was put off buying meat from Woolworths for literally years, actually decades. Once I got a steak from them, it was purportedly a steak, and it was just gristle. It was disgusting. I should have taken it back. It was inedible, absolute crap. But I have actually bought pork chops from them this year and I think last year, and the quality's been fine. So maybe I was just very unlucky, but it was enough to put me off buying from that chain for that many years. I mean, I do regard Woolworths as a better supermarket overall than Coles, because I think they've got fresher greens and what have you. Their vegetables are fresher, and I found that consistently with, if I want my spinach to last longer, definitely go to Woolworths. And generally speaking, Woolworths they don't run out of stock like the local Coles does. Although they've just recently they don't have. The aerated mineral water, the sparkling mineral water is not on the shelves, the generic one, in Woolworths. They've been totally cleaned out with no indication of when they're going to be replenished. Whereas Coles today, I bought 3 1.25 litre bottles of sparkling mineral water, their generic one, no problem. So, and of course, they say they're competitors, but it's funny how their prices are exactly the same between each chain of supermarkets. I mean, the ACCC, I think it is, it does competition watchdog. I think, you know, they need to get off their asses and actually do something about that, because it really is a duopoly between Coles and Woolworths, in my opinion, anyway. And that's not good for the country. It's certainly not good for the likes of IGA, who are trying to compete with them. And then we've got Aldi. Well, we don't have Aldi here, unfortunately. And I found Aldi to be able to, would certainly help me reduce my my grocery bills when I had it in Melbourne. It was great, but not so up here. It's one of the sacrifices you make for living in a regional area. And the other problem is that getting the Christmas turkeys was I was so lucky. I scored one frozen one from Woolworths. Coles seem to actually have a better supply of turkeys. But they're Steggles, and I think Zali Steggles a drop kick, and I wouldn't want to support her or her family in any way. So, but it's my little boycott of her chicken farm. So that's actually browning up really well. Really well. It smells alright too. Yeah, it's not bad at all. This could work out rather well. I've got plenty of veggies to put in, and yeah, I'd like to look at this. In the past I've just transferred these and then put the sauce in later. I mean, I could cook the whole thing in the pot too. That's the other option. I mean, once I'm just putting the veggies in and spices and what have you, I really don't need the fry pan. This is basically the last thing I need it for, so I could actually just turf it and move the cooking to that. I mean, you can do whatever you like with it. The main thing is that you just follow a sequence. This is the sequence I use. It seems to work for me. Give it a go, but don't be afraid to experiment. You might find there's a better way of doing this. I'm not the fond of all knowledge, and this is I'm just flying by the seat of my pants here. But I have made this meal on several, probably a dozen occasions maybe. I don't know. It's certainly, I've made it a few times, and I've never been disappointed. So, mind you, we'll see how the meat. I haven't used this meat before, but it looks fine. It looks reasonably tender. It doesn't look like it's sinewy or riddled with fat. It seems pretty okay. But I want to just do a bit of, just fry it up here to get a little bit of brownness there, give it a bit of flavour before I actually transfer it into the pot. Of course, it doesn't matter with the veggies and what have you, because the flavour will be, that will come out through the sauce and what have you that I make up. I'm going to make up some stock as well. That's piss easy to do. It's just a matter of a couple of little stock cubes and in hot water, and what I like to do is just use my electric kettle to heat up the water to a really high degree. Then it really it will disintegrate really well because it's so hot. So it's one of the things with those cubes. Sometimes you get flakes of them, but if you've got really hot water, it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, let's have a look here. Yeah, looking good, looking good. Yeah, I've been meaning to do this video for some time, but someone actually asked me to do one for the stuffing, the turkey stuffing, which could be a total disaster because I've never done it before. I have made turkey stuffing, but I don't know if it was super successful, but I've got a recipe I'm going to follow, an American recipe, and we'll see how we go. With a slight variation, I'm going to add prunes to it. Because I've got cranberry sauce too, by the way, so I'm all ready to go. And the cranberry sauce does go well with turkey. So, yeah, most things are under control. Sorry for the sweat though, it's warm in here. I don't have a ceiling fan in the kitchen, unfortunately, which not quite sure why there isn't one. It would be a sensible thing to have. There's two in the lounge, and I really hardly ever use those. I use the one in the bedroom, that's the most important one. And I had that on setting 2 last night because it was pretty muggy. Still haven't used my aircon, so I've gone this far into summer without using aircon, and I'm a tight ass. I like to save money. If I don't think I really need it, I won't use it. But when it's stinking hot, what I'll do is I'll turn it on at 9 o'clock when we go to off-peak electricity rates, and I'll cool down the bedroom before I go to bed. And I may even turn it on during the night if it's really bad. I do have insulation. I think it might be doing some good. I had it put in last year. So this part of the block, I've actually got insulation because this particular unit is divided from the adjoining unit, so it is feasible to have your own insulation in. So I think it has helped. Okay, I think that's enough time with the meat. That's plenty of time to cook. Looks good, very happy with it. Okay. Oh, I love that. Look at that. Oh, I don't know if you can see that from here. You've got all that. Oh, yes, I like it. The caramelised sauces. See that dark brown? It's beautiful. Oh, yeah, that's gonna add a little flavour. Now, I think I can basically turf this now. I think we'll go now to the next phase. So that's what it looks like in this particular position. Now we're going to add the sauces and stir it all together. So I'll just give this a bit of a rinse. Yeah. So what I'll do now, I'll continue on and do the sauce right now. I'm not done that right now. I'll get it down to a low level. And yeah, I'll do the sauce, and then I'll cut and get all the veggies ready. You don't need to watch me peeling vegetables. I'm sure you know how to do that. So we'll basically cut the process down a little bit that way. Okay. So this is actually I'll put the canned tomatoes in first. Very easy. Very easy if you've got fingernails. Oh, I couldn't get my fingers underneath the to flip it up. There you go. And damn annoying when sometimes these things don't come off when you pull them back. I hate that. This one's worked, sort of. Oh, a little reluctant, but it finally gave way. Yes, I've had that with my Lithuanian condensed milk. It comes in the same sort of containers with that flip top, and a couple of them haven't actually flipped off. They're just broken. So there you go, just pour it all in there. Oh, it smells great. Oh, love. I don't know how we live without tomatoes. I don't know. You know, medieval England, they didn't have tomatoes, they didn't have potatoes. They all came from South America. So, you know, we've only had them for a few hundred years. They're such staples. We take it all for granted, this amazing amount of cuisine we have available nowadays. But it wasn't always like that. It would have been a very bland type of cuisine. God, it smells good at straight away. Just putting that in. I'm just stirring that up to mix it out a bit. And that's always fun. If you've got wet hands, you try to open one of these things. There you go. Oh, that was all right. So this is basically the El Cheapo Coles tomato paste. The difference between the tomato paste from Coles and Woolworths is the Woolworths one is a little more tart. It's actually a little less sugar in it, so probably healthier. But I imagine it's fairly marginal. I never have to add sugar to any of these recipes because all these processed foods have got enough sugar in them already. So I'll just add a liberal amount of this tomato paste, at least maybe 4 or 5 teaspoons. One more for fun. And that'll sweeten it all up thanks to Cole's recipe, being rather sweet. Whoa, it all looks like a base now for a sauce, yeah. We do need the stock though, we need a bit more moisture. It's still a bit gluggy. So I might I'll actually have the fun part. Yummy. I haven't even put any spices in yet. But I can taste the sugar. I'll put that in the fridge. Hopefully I may get to use it again if I'm having luck. Usually I'd have to throw it out, which is a bit of a shame. Rest But once I get in the groove, I might do this again in the next few weeks. Even though it's summer, what the hell, I don't care. This is really a wintry type meal, but hey, I'm a contrarian, I don't mind doing this. Oh, well, I just discovered that my sweet paprika ain't so sweet anymore. It smells pretty off. I'm not going to put that in. I bought these herbs today, so these ones are definitely fresh. I don't think this stuff really lasts very well in the tropics. Again, with the stock, I'm going to have to pass on the stock because it's melted. It's literally melted. They're not hard cubes anymore, and they don't smell very good either. So I'm not going to put that in the food. So I'm going to have to basically improvise. That's part of the fun of cooking, I guess. And so I've got carrots here. I'll just dice them up a bit, but I've already peeled them. And now I can just shove them straight in. Maybe cut that one in half. Got a stack of, no shortage of carrots. Just put them in small. Yeah. Shove them in. It won't take too long to get these. Okay, so that's all the carrots accounted for. They're in the mix, bubbling along there. It'll take a little while for them to soften, but that will occur. Pumpkin, got pumpkin here. Maybe make that half the size. You can see I'm sweating. The heat's really getting to me. I'm usually in front of a fan, but I've been in the kitchen, so I haven't had a chance to cool down. So, good thing we don't have smell-o-vision. I'm sure I don't smell perfect. This is the sweet potato. Yeah, just cut it up to the size you feel happy with, but you've got to cut them up a bit to give it a chance to basically cook. So, and lastly, but not least, I love my spuds. I've got Irish blood. You wouldn't know it, would you? Yeah. So look, actually, it smells pretty good as is the mix. So I'm not particularly worried about the flavour. And now we'll do the spuds. This is the size of the spuds. 2 average size spuds. Already peeled. These ones actually have to wash as well. I get the ones that, you know, being a tight ass, having half Scottish blood, and being a total tight ass, I like to save money. I actually don't mind washing spuds, although I found the dirtiest spud I've ever come across today. It was a shocker. Yeah, I think I'll be alright with it. Yeah, leave them big. Spuds break down pretty easily. Don't have to worry about them cooking. I think the carrots might take longer than the others, so we'll see. Fairly firm. Okay, so we've got, what I'm thinking of doing, instead of the paprika, I've got some curry powder there. I might put that in there. And of course, it's up to you what you can handle, and you don't like hot food, so I understand that. So what I'm thinking of doing is, I think the curry paste will be all right. We'll just see. Hopefully it's all right. I think so. It smells okay. It smells like curry powder. I guess I've learned a lesson here though. But I think the shelf life up here is quite short compared to some places. I think I made this about 6 months ago, and the spices are okay, but maybe I need to hold them in the fridge and just see what this looks like. Yeah, it looks fine. Yeah, it looks fine. It smells fine, so. A couple of teaspoons of there you go, that's more than enough. Give it a bit of spice. Delivering in the ER tonight, I know this was not a smart move. I think it smells alright. Now we've got these ones are fresh. I know they're fresh, I bought them today, so. Bit of rosemary, put that in. Yeah, give it a little bit. Why not? Didn't think I was too thrilled with sage. I'm not thrilled with that. I think I'll put and a bit of thyme. We'll put that in as well. I've got plenty of time for thyme. And there you go. I think that might just do it. And I'll do a taste test. You can always change it, and I might get some sweet paprika anyway. But there's plenty of liquid in there at the moment. So, and what I do now, this is the final part of it. Basically, the next thing I need to do is just basically put the top on and let the mother simmer for a while. And simmer at a very low temperature, basically. It'll start bubbling with the lid on, and it'll cook okay. I'm not sure what the time is. I better just check that. Yeah, it's 3 o'clock right now, so it took basically a couple of hours to do this. Slightly more, 1 hour to do this, I should say. Slightly more, maybe 1 hour 15 minutes for me to prepare this. But remember, this is going to provide me with 5 or 6 meals during the week, and you can vary. You can have it on rice, or you could just have it as is. Either way, it's quite nice, quite filling, and it should be tasty enough. But again, I'll do a taste test a little later. It's already bubbling. Yeah, so it's going well. So basically, I'm going to wait for at least a couple of hours, and I'll keep checking it out from time to time. A good cook doesn't leave the scene of the cooking. You need to be around just to check and make sure the progress is okay. And look, well, fingers crossed it all works out well, and fingers crossed I don't go to ER because I'm using old curry powder. I haven't heard of people dying from exposure to old curry powder, but maybe the first one. Anyway, we'll see how it goes, and I think I better shop for some new herbs and spices apart from the ones I bought today. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you think there's anything there of use to you, or entertainment or whatever. And either do that or give me a thumbs up, or if you're feeling really energetic, do both. That'd be great.